Ekpe Emergency Center reaffirms commitment to expanding health infrastructure. Federal government calls for adoption of digital technology in the agricultural sector to boost food production. And Sweden's new national security advisor quits over sensitive pictures on dating app. And in sports, FIFA expands Women's World Cup to 48 teams from 2031 edition. And now the details. I am Mike James. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to increasing investment in health infrastructure across the state, with a focus on emergency response, maternal care and disease prevention to meet the growing needs of the people. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who stated this at the official handover ceremony of the newly constructed Accident and Emergency Center at Ekpe, said it marks a new benchmark in the state infrastructural and social development agenda. He noted that the facility would also expand access to urgent and life-saving medical services, particularly for riverine and rural communities in Lagos, improve patient outcomes and also enhance staff performance, ensure faster response times, and strengthen public trust in the health sector.
This facility, like they said, is a level 4 tier facility that will triage and stabilize the event of an accident. It's difficult for us to say that this is when accident is going to happen. We don't know. A world-class facility like this will ensure that when it does happen, you have a place where you can bring them in first to quickly stabilize people. And it's always that first 24 to 48 hours, sometimes that is critical, stabilizing life. And so what it will do is to be able to analyze what needs to be done on a medium to a long-term basis. But at least the first thing is that life has been saved. We've been able to preserve life, and we'll be able to now take it forward to know what additional level of medical facility will be required.
Also speaking at the event, Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Aki Abayomi, said the Sanwo-Olu administration is committed to deepening public-private partnership, particularly in health insurance schemes that can support emergency medical care. He noted that the state would continue to develop initiatives that enhance healthcare delivery, including the design of programs that ensure the sustainability of emergency services. The facility, which is a collaboration between the Lagos State Ministry of Health and Custodian Social Responsibility Foundation, is equipped with a triage unit, fully fitted emergency wards, diagnostic sections, staff lounges, and comfortable waiting areas. Governor Sanwo-Olu also paid a working visit to Charterhouse Lagos Secondary School, the first British independent school in Nigeria at Lekki Phase 1. Plan is underway by the Lagos government to domesticate the National Women Economic Empowerment WE policy. The policy targets women empowerment in agriculture, skills development, entrepreneurship, and emerging industries to drive economic independence for women in Lagos. Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, WAPA, Bolaji Dada, stated this at the ongoing ministerial press briefing to mark the second-year anniversary of the second term of the Sanwo-Olu administration held at Alausa, while noting that the state government has expanded almost 2 billion naira to empower the vulnerable. Dada said 10,464 residents graduated from the 20 vocational skills centers across the state from 2023 till date, empowered with tools to start up their businesses, while another 5,013 people will also graduate in the next 2 months.
WAPA will continue to be committed to digital innovation, entrepreneurship development, gender equality, and poverty eradication strategies that will build a safer, stronger, and more inclusive Lagos for all. As we continue this journey, I urge every stakeholder, every partner, and every resident of Lagos State to remain engaged. Together, let us keep lifting, building, and transforming our Lagos.
The Commissioner noted that over 2,000 cases of gender-based violence were reported in the last 1 year, out of which 195 were males. Dada noted that the domestic violence survivors shelter under construction in Agedingbi is 70% near completion, which will be used to provide temporary accommodation for victims with provision of psychosocial support and free legal services for them before reintegrating them into the society. Our correspondent, Adiola Akindele, reports that 16,000 young ladies and rural women have benefited from the Free Sanitary Pad initiative as part of efforts to promote menstrual hygiene. General Manager of the Lagos State Office for Disability Affairs, LASODA, Adenike Oyetunde Lawal, has paid an official visit to the Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit Agency, LASPA headquarters in Ikeja to facilitate strategic discussions on how policies related to accessibility can be implemented successfully and to ensure that they are translated into practical knowledge on ground. According to Oyetunde Lawal, the collaboration with LASPA is underscored by the need to ensure disability inclusion in new development and infrastructure specifically designed and built with accessibility in mind to enhance their quality of life, while promoting equitable access to services and facilities for all residents. She said it will also ensure that buildings have designated routes, ramps, and other features that make them usable by individuals with disabilities. Oyetunde Lawal emphasized that the collaboration with LASPA will ensure that its planning and permit processes are compliant with the legal and regulatory frameworks related to other forms of accessibility and inclusion. The General Manager of LASPA, Kehinde Oshinaike, expressed optimism about the potential collaboration, noting that the strategic partnership with LASODA will incorporate people with disabilities, accessibility standards, and guidelines for all planning processes. And now to the rest of the stories. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has called for the urgent adoption of digital technology in Nigeria's agricultural sector to boost food production, curb rising prices, and reduce the country's dependence on food imports. Speaking in Abeokuta at the Ogun Tech Forward Innovation and Startups Roundtable session, Tijani stressed that Nigeria's vast arable land and large population could only be effectively harnessed through technological intervention. He warned that without embracing innovation, traditional farming practices would remain inefficient and expensive, putting food security at risk. The minister also made a broader case for inclusive innovation across the country, cautioning that Nigeria's technological future cannot be shaped by a few urban centers alone. Tijani assured that the federal government would back Ogun Tech Hub's initiative aimed at creating 300 jobs through businesses outsourcing as part of a broader vision to transform Nigerian state into talent cities. The Ogun State government has proposed the establishment of a land management agency to evolve from existing framework for responsible and inclusive land-intensive agricultural investment under the World Bank-supported Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, OG-STEP. This proposal, according to a statement by the OG-STEP Communication Manager, Olasumbo Olainka, was unveiled during a stakeholders review workshop on technical implementation of Freelia in Ogun State, held at the Obas Complex, Okimoso, Abeokuta. The Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security, Bolu Owutomo, who was represented by the Permanent Secretary, Kehinde Jokotoyi, described the proposed agency as a landmark initiative that will provide a legal framework for inclusive and sustainable land governance in the state. Owutomo stated that through a comprehensive audit of over 62,000 hectares of government-acquired agricultural land, the initiative established a solid baseline for strategic land use planning. In some foreign news, Sweden's new national security advisor, Tobias Thyberg, has quit hours after taking up the role as sensitive pictures of him on the dating app Grindr were sent anonymously to the government. Thyberg, who took up the job on Thursday and resigned on Friday morning, had omitted the information during security background checks. He had been due to be in Norway with the Prime Minister for a meeting of Northern European leaders, but the advisor's participation was cancelled. Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson said the information should have come to light during the vetting process. The resignation comes just months after Dieberg's predecessor in the high-profile job stepped down and was charged with negligent handling of classified information. In sports news, FIFA has announced the Women's World Cup will be expanded from 32 to 48 teams like the men's competition, starting with the 2031 edition. The sports governing body said the FIFA Council unanimously agreed to enlarge the competition given the remarkable recent strides made by women's football across the world. FIFA said the 48-team tournament will adopt a 12-group format, increasing the total number of matches from 64 to 104 and extending the tournament by 1 week. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said the expansion followed the success of the 2023 World Cup in Australia and New Zealand, won by Spain. The 2027 tournament in Brazil, which will be the 10th edition of the women's event, will remain at 32 teams. FIFA is yet to ratify the 2031 and 2035 hosts. Now's our news at 12. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, Traffic Radio 961, Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube, Traffic Radio 961. And you can also visit our website, www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that under the Sanwo-Olu administration, 18,000 teachers were trained under EcoExcel? You can get more details on the Legacy Government website. And to end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Legacy Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to increasing investment in health infrastructure across the state, with a focus on emergency response, maternal care, and disease prevention to meet the growing needs of the people. Governor Sanwo-Olu stated this at the official handing over ceremony of the newly constructed Accident and Emergency Center at Ekme. The Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has called for the urgent adoption of digital technology in Nigeria's agricultural sector to boost food production, curb rising prices, and reduce the country's dependence on food imports. We also told you that Sweden's new national security advisor, Tobias Dieberg, quit hours after taking up the role as sensitive pictures of him on the dating app Greener were sent anonymously to the government. In sports, FIFA has announced the Women's World Cup will be expanded from 32 to 48 teams, like the men's competition, starting with the 2031 edition. And for contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Kayode Mafulashiri. Thank you for listening. My name is Mike James. Good afternoon.
Have you ever been stuck in traffic